Isaac. They're moving on to Jacob. Yes, of course. Anyway, I have this book, and the book is The Joys of Yiddish by Leo Rosten.
Oh, I've got
I am
that.
determined to touch upon it. Okay, what does it mean to kvel? Kvel.
To gush over your grandchildren.
Yes.
Puff yourself up with pride.
Yes. Hello, Stephen. Yes. Anybody else? Yes.
Well, over your grandchildren, I don't know how to translate it.
Yes.
Both.
Yes.
Be proud.
Yes. Well, the late great Mrs. Berkowitz, my sixth grade teacher, said when she gave us a word to define, you're not supposed to use the word in the definition. Not that I'm criticizing.
Oh,
But anyway,
Well, it's
Kvel. This is Leo. What?
Well, KVEL.
Well is to quell.
No, not to quell. To kvel.
Well,
Yes. And when I was a kid, it's like shepping nachas. Here, that's closely related. What is it? Shep nachas.
that's a good
fortune.
transfer pride, transfer joy.
The shep nachas, as I understand it, you may be.
To give up to receive joy,
Yes. Well.
pleasure.
Yes. Well, to kvel. I'm sorry. To shep nachas is to gather pride while the child is up there reciting the soliloquy from Hamlet or the famous oration from Julius Caesar. You are shepping nachas. You are gathering nachas. And when I was a kid, nobody ever explained anything to me. I had to figure it out myself. So I thought it was shedding nachas. I thought that the child on the stage was shedding nachas. Well, that worked very well. Let's try again. All right. Just a quick joke. Haha. This is, as I said, Leo Rosten. Leo Rosten's claim to fame is Hyman Kaplan. Does anybody remember Hyman Kaplan? I think he was not real.
I read that book,
Yes, very good.
The
Thank you.
Education of Hyman Kaplan.
Yes, that's exactly right. Hyman Kaplan was famous for his mispronunciation of English words and also for always triumphing over the other members of the class, where it was a class for adults that met at night and they were learning how to speak and write English. Nobody here, thank God, has ever participated in such a class. But Leo Rosten was the teacher of those classes, whether in the Educational Alliance or elsewhere. Now, how do we use the word kvetch? Kvetch. To kvetch.
Plain.
Yes, yes.
We all know
I
that.
had a friend who was a Jew by choice, and she couldn't get past kvetch. It was like two words. It was not two words. It's kvetch. Okay? So what does it mean to kvetch? Use kvetch in a sentence. Go ahead, Paul. Show us what the Hungarians do. Want me to get back to you?
Quetching is a real art.
Yes. Well, is it real? Yes, but it's painful to those around you.
It's
Okay. Yes, Stephen. What?
explaining.
Yes. Yes.
Quit fetching about your taxes and pay them.
You were going to say quid pro quo, weren't you? Quid pro fetch. No.
No,
Okay.
I don't use Latin with Yiddish.
Okay. Oh, you should. The Romans and the Jews never quite got along. Thing is, I feel this is my own invention. Kvetchere vivere. What is that? Kvetchere vivere. To kvetch is to
Fetch,
live.
therefore I live.
Yes, as long as they're kvetching, they're living. You see, it's God forbid, when somebody's lying in the bed and how are you? That's not really a good thing. So don't kvetch the peaches. What does that mean? Don't kvetch me the peaches. Don't kvetch me. Okay, no lima me kvetchere.
Don't complain to me about peaches.
That's it. Don't complain about the peaches. Have another one. He'll kvetch the deal out to its last decimal point. No one who knows how someone else's shoe kvetches. That one I never heard. Can your shoes kvetch you?
If they hurt, they hurt.
If they hurt, yes.
Say
Have
that
we
again.
moved beyond kvetch if the shoes are hurting? Maybe they're just disturbing. Maybe they're the wrong color. Okay.
Then it's big and full of water
When the shoe is full of water.
and big.
Yes. Yes, very
Like a
good.
function.
Okay, one more. Kvetchen sich. Kvetchen sich. I've heard that from a lot of older folks. Kvetch sich means as long as you're kvetching, you're in good shape. To exert or push oneself. a soprano straining to hit a high note, a stammerer bullying through a sound barrier, a woman in labor trying to hasten birth. And this is how we know that men do not give birth, because you would hear such a kvetching if that were the case. Okay? All right, well, thank you very
I
much.
think you would use another word. other than
What would that be?
for- I don't know, but that's to describe super pain.
Hmm.
Like a vault.
There's a story about that. There's a story about that in Treasury of Jewish Folklore, which was edited by Nathan Ossabel. It came out after the war. And after that was such a grand success that he immediately followed it with a Treasury of Jewish Humor. The problem was the second volume wasn't as good as the first. The first was great. The first had characters, the first had jokes, some of the jokes had not aged well. But the story goes about, give me a Jewish girl's name.
Rachel.
Rachel. Rachela moved herself to Paris. She went to finishing school. She took language lessons. She bought a beautiful chateau on the Champs-Élysées, and she prided herself on being a complete Francophile. And then she got married, and she called up her mother and said, "Mother, I'm so excited. I'm marrying a marquis." And her mother said, "That's very nice, sweetheart, but what is that?" "Oh, I'm in such a hurry. I'm getting off the phone." She got off the phone. So her mother, give me a last name for a Jewish lady.
Sarah.
Last name.
Cohen.
Mrs. Cohen, Mrs. Goldberg Cohen. She was hyphenated. Okay, Mrs. Goldberg Cohen, first name Sarah. Called up her good friend. Who was the good friend? Mrs. Okay, we'll split up the Mrs. Lefkowitz Pearlstein. Okay, Mrs. Lefkowitz Pearlstein, she says, Sadie, what is a marquee? And her wife, her friend says to her, "Oh," she says, "that's the thing outside the movie theater where they hang the features." Says, "My God, my daughter's marrying one of them this afternoon." Okay,
Yeah, and
that's the whole joke. That's the entire joke.
Rabbi,
Yes.
line. Oi.
I got this letter from my friend Rabbi Spritzer, who's a Lubavitcher Rebbe in Brooklyn.
Yes.
And would it be appropriate if I can share this letter now?
Can I take a look at it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Meantime, Cantor can lead us in the Shalom Aleichem. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Okay.
So we turn to page 13.
The green light is on. Yes.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom
Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom,
Okay, please rise. Thank you, Cantor. Light the candles now. ladies, if you'll assemble over here, please. Thank you, sir. Would you like to do that? We wave our hands over the candles, bringing Shabbat. We cover our eyes. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'tzatzah v'tzivanu, le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, b'mitzvotav. V'tzivanu, v'tzivanu, l'hadlik ner, v'tzivanu, v'tzivanu, l'hadlik ner, v'tzivanu, v'tzivanu, l'hadlik ner, shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. Shabbat. Sorry, my hands are cold. Shabbat. Thank you, Sandy. Shabbat. Thank you. All right, please turn to Yedid Nefesh. It's on page 14. Yedid Nefesh. Avarachamam, Eretz Donach, Yarutz Avda, Kimo Ayam, Yishtachaveh, Emu Hadara, Yeravlo Yediduta Minofetzu Bicholtam. And the English. Soul-made loving God, compassion's gentle source, take my disposition and shape it to your will. Like a darning deer, will I rush to you, before your glorious presence, humbly will I bow. Let your sweet love delight me with its thrill, because no other dainty will my hunger still. Without words, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da,
Some of you didn't, when there are things here
I can do
for
something.
you to pick up, that's okay. Most people have it.
Okay.
You need to check. There might be something important.
Thank you.
This will be on the phone.
You're good?
I don't think it does.
So we turn to page 17 for Psalm 97. And we're going to sing at the bottom, the next to last line. Or Zarua Latzadik.
Or Zarua Latzadik U'Yisraelev Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik U'Yisraelev Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik U'Yisraelev Simcha. U'Yisraelev Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik U'Yisraelev Simcha. U'Yisraelev Simcha. Let's do it again. Or Zarua Latzadik U'Yisraelev Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik U'Yisraelev Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik U'Yisraelev Simcha. U'Yisraelev Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik U'Yisraelev Simcha. U'Yisraelev Simcha. Yalla la 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 la. Yalla la 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 la. Yalla la. Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai ve'odu lezecher kodsho. Okay, now we turn to page 18, and the little handout is the third line from the bottom on this page. But we're singing it in the Hebrew and also an English line, so that's why you've got that little piece of paper. Neharot yimcha'u chaf, yimcha'u chaf, yimcha'u chaf. Neharot yimcha'u chaf, yimcha'u chaf, yimcha'u chaf. Yachad harim, yachad harim, yachad harim yiraneinu. Yachad harim, yachad harim, yachad harim yiraneinu. Clap your hands, clap your hands. Rivers, oceans, clap your hands, clap your hands, clap your hands. Rivers, oceans, clap your hands. Mountains rejoice, earth sound your voice. All of nature sings in praise to God. Mountains rejoice, earth sound your voice. All of nature sings in praise to God. And once more in the Hebrew. Neharot yimcha'u chaf, yimcha'u chaf, yimcha'u chaf. Neharot yimcha'u chaf, yimcha'u chaf, yimcha'u chaf. Yachad harim, yachad harim, yachad harim yiraneinu. Yachad harim, yachad harim, yachad harim yiraneinu. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishvot haaretz, lishvot tevel v'tzedek ve'amim v'meisharim. We turn now to page 20.
page 20, and what I would like to do following this psalm is to summarize the letter that was handed me by Mr. Paul Dobbs, one of our members. Mizmor LeDavid, Avul Adonai B'Nelim, Avul Adonai Kavod Va'uz, Avul Adonai Kivod Shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai B'Havrat Kodesh, Kol Adonai al Hamayim, El HaKavod Hirim, Adonai al Mayim Rabim, Kol Adonai HaKoach, Kol Adonai B'Hadar, Kol Adonai Shaber Arazim, Vayishaber Adonai Tarzeh Halvanon, Vayar Kidem Kimo Egel, Levanon Visirion, Kimo Ven Rehemim, Kol Adonai Osef Lavotesh, Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai Tichol Elayalot, Vayechasof Yarot, Uveichalo Kulo Meher Kavod, Adonai Lamabul Yashav, Vayeshev Adonai Melech Liolam, Adonai Oz Ve'amo Yitel, Adonai Yivarech Et Amo V'Shalom. Now this is a letter that was sent to our Paul by Rabbi, was he sign it? Yes, Rabbi Shmuel Spritzer. Let me just get out of water. First off, everyone in the Jewish world at least is extremely upset over this current war that's taking place in Gaza. There are leftists, there are rightists, there are folks who believe Israel should not continue its conquest of the West Bank. I'm sorry, the West Bank too, of Gaza. There are those who believe that they have to persist, the Israeli army has to persist until every Hamas person is laid underground. And there is no doubting, of course, that as we learn more and more, I was watching a video just earlier today, the Hamas people behaved in a bestial manner, and I can't even say that because beasts don't behave that way.
No,
These are beasts in human form, as Elie Wiesel characterized the Nazis. And so as Jews, we want not only questions, the questions are very difficult to answer, we want answers as well. And I do not stand with Chabad in many of their theological or political stances, but we are all Jews. And their idea, which is not unreachable, is that the more mitzvot we are to perform, any mitzvah at all, will hopefully sway the tide of battle. I'm not a political student on these things, but I have no problem with that myself. And I'm going to just read you an excerpt from this letter which Paul has shared with us. There's only one rational way to answer this secret of our immortality, to search for the one unique and exclusive weapon that the Jewish people possessed from the day they became a people, which accompanied them throughout their history. There's only one single weapon that has been with us forever, in every milieu, in every location, under all circumstances. The Torah and the mitzvos that our people studied, observed, and celebrated with unwavering commitment on a daily basis, and bequeathed to their children and grandchildren. That is what Rabbi Spritzer is recommending. And I would say that in addition, of course, as we are doing, giving tzedakah, giving charity to our brothers and sisters in the state of Israel, and I'm sure everyone is keeping up with the news in a manner unprecedented in American and Jewish history, it would be very gratifying if we were perhaps to just continue and increase our doing of mitzvot. can read a line of Torah, you can come to a minyan, you can come to Shabbat services, but you're already here, thank you very much, including the folks who are online. And I'll finish with the rabbi's paragraph. It is the teaching of the Torah that we bring to the men and women we serve. We have helped thousands of men and women kindle their inner spark and discover the single most precious ingredient for success and happiness, a mission-driven life. Thank you for partnering up with us and bringing change for the better to so many. Thank you very much, and thank you, Paul, for bringing this to my attention. It's never too early or too late to do a mitzvah. And every word of every prayer that we say, and every line of every song that the cantor teaches us to sing is a separate mitzvah. And we hope and pray that these mitzvot will rise before the Kisei HaRachamim, God's throne of mercy, so that, at least on our side, the Israelis will triumph. Although well, never mind, don't get me started about all that. War is not easy. War is never easy. And General Clausewitz said back in the 19th century, there is the fog of war, where you go into battle with a plan, and the plans don't always measure up. But I don't know if this is the place for that. Let's continue now with the Chadoti led by our wonderful cantor.
Page 21. We'll sing the first two verses and then turn the page to the last verse on the next. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Sha'amor v'zachor b'dibur echad, yishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shet u'tiferet v'litina. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haveracha, merosh mikadem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. We turn the page, rise, and we face the entrance. Bo'im b'shalom ha'teret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'b'sola, tov rabunei am segula, bo'ichala, bo'ichala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated.
We'll continue now, please, on page 23. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat. Reading silently. Let's read responsibly the last four verses. I'll take it from your enemies. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish, all the wicked shall crumble. Together,
But
me you have greatly exalted, I have anointed us with fragrant oil. I have seen the downfall of my foes, I have heard the doom of my attackers. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God. They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant. Proclaim Adonai is just, my rock in whom there is no flaw. And the last 4 lines. Tzadikata Yifra Ki Erez Balvanon Yitzken Shitulim Beveit Adonai B'chatzrot Eloheinu Yafrilu Od Yiluvun Tiseva Tishenim Irananim Yehu Lehagi Yashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avlatavo. We can put the prayer books aside at this time. I really like Toldot. I have to say, you've got the 4 characters. You've got Isaac and Rebekah. You've got Jacob and Esau. The confusion, I would say, of Abraham's household is gone, because first they liked Hagar, then they didn't like Hagar, then they threw her out with Ishmael, then they took him back in. It was very strange. In this family, you know exactly what's happening, and they are just as dysfunctional as modern Jewish families. Toldot, as I said, means generations. Isaac and Rebekah, can they have babies?
No.
No, and technically, in the Bible, at least, if you cannot have a baby, it means you've done something that God doesn't like. But in this case, I would say Rebekah is as pure as the driven snow, that Isaac is likewise. Isaac, as I've said before, is a man more acted upon than acting. He is the weak link in the patriarchal chain, but still he manages to get along. And as a matter of fact, the expression is that the wells that Abraham dug, which later on became filled in, Isaac redug them. And that would have to mean that he carried on the traditions of his father, even though he didn't introduce any innovations. But we don't know. We'll never know for sure. In the meantime, it's altogether probable that his spirit was broken, because when the father comes home one morning and says, "Come on, sonny boy, pick up an armload of twigs, and we're going to visit a mountain that I know, Mount Moriah," he really didn't understand. And that famous episode, which we read, of course, on the 2nd day of Rosh Hashanah, what happens is that they're walking along, and Isaac says, "Papa," and he says, "Here I am, my son," which is a very significant distancing, because Abraham is so up in heaven, he is so completely together with God, he doesn't really pay attention to his son, and that's a very sad thing. It's like all the times in my life where I was busy with work and I couldn't really pay attention to the children as I would have liked. Well, in this case, Isaac says to him, "My father," and he says, "Yes, my son." And he says, here is the fire, here is the wood, and everything else we need for a burnt offering, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham says, "God will provide himself a lamb, my son." And the two walked on together. Vayelchu shnehem yachdav. They walked on together. That has been defined as the most eloquent silence in all of world literature, because by this point, Abraham is dead set, so to speak, on sacrificing his son. Isaac has submitted to his father and to God's will. That's a very significant move. So, in this case, finally, Rebekah is pregnant, and she's having a difficult pregnancy, because supposedly, and again, this is a midrash, I wouldn't take it literally, the boys are fighting in her womb, because Jacob and Esau are destined not to get along. Jacob is going to stay Jewish, Esau is going to go off at some point. At one point he's an idolater. At another point he's the inheritor of Rome, imperial Rome, and so it goes. But Esau is born first, and Jacob is born second. They are the most dissimilar twins you could imagine. Esau has red hair, a big mop of curly red hair, and a reddish complexion. He's very fair-skinned. Jacob, on the other hand, is a smooth man. He has dark hair, and his complexion, shall we say, is fairly uniform. But as they grow up, supposedly, Jacob goes to yeshiva, which is a pretty neat trick considering that the Torah hasn't been given yet. But what yeshiva does he go to? Does he go to Salanter? Does he go to YCQ? Does he go to yeshiva? He goes to the Yeshivat Shem Ve'ever. He goes to a convenient Hebrew day school run by two supposed Jews, Shem, who is the son of Noah, and he is the ancestor of us Semites, and Aver, whose name becomes Ivri, Hebrew. So he's going to the yeshiva of the Semites and the Hebrews. There aren't any Semites, there aren't any Hebrews. He could sit in his living room and look about and see all these Semites and all the Hebrews in the world. Well, at this point, Isaac travels to Gerar, which is one of my favorite place names. Where do you live? Gerar. You have a lot of dogs. Isaac presents Rebekah as his sister. Sound familiar? Yes. Apparently passing off your wife as your sister is fairly popular in the Torah. So Isaac figures, hey, it was good enough for the old man, I'm going to do it myself. And it's the land of the Philistines, and he tells them that she's his sister, not his wife, and Rebekah is taken into the harem of the king of the Philistines, which is a pretty neat trick because the Philistines aren't there yet. The Philistines don't get there until about the reign of King Saul. They were just kind of doing some telescoping of the time. They could have said the Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites. They went with the Philistines because at the time it was written, the Philistines were the local military power, already in the Iron Age, while the Israelites are in the Bronze Age. But there are no Israelites. There's no Bronze Age. Well, maybe they were already in the Bronze Age. He farms the land, which is very, very advanced for him, because who's higher on the scale of civilization? Shepherds or farmers?
Farmers.
Yes. Oh, the farmer and the cowman should be friends. Yes, the farmer and the cowman should be friends. One man likes to push a plow, the other likes to chase a cow. That's no reason why they can't be friends. It's still an issue. I don't think it's an issue anymore. Well, Esau goes off. He's marriageable, so he marries two Hittite women. Their names are Machlat and Oholibamah, which means, Machlat means illness or sickness, and she's an idolatress. And Oholibamah, that's a great name. That's a wonderful name for a Siamese cat. What? Oholibamah, which means my tent is a place for idol worship. Because a bama as opposed to a bima. Bima is good, right? What's a bima? Yes, on which Torah things happen. A bama is a raised place where you can sacrifice everything you want. Okay? All right. But now it's time to worry because Isaac is getting old and he don't hear so good and he sees worse. And Rebekah is very concerned because Esau, even though he sold his Bechorah, his birthright, to Jacob, is still very much the firstborn. And he can take Jacob very, very easily. So what does she do, Rebekah? Something with skins.
She puts like
They're not playing basketball.
skins on
Yes,
his arms.
very
so
good.
it
She
seemed
covers
like-
his arms with lamb skin or goat skin or sheep skin, and he smells like a goat, which is not a bad smell if you're Esau. And he goes in with the famous venison. Have you had venison? It's very hot. You can get kosher venison. I think that Empire makes it, or God makes it, and Empire takes care of it. But venison, I understand from my previous secretary, is very tough. Yes. And if it's wild venison, that's worse because who knows? They could have eaten pebbles, they could have eaten branches and whatnot. So he goes in and says, "Here I am, Dad. Who are you?" And he says, I'm your son Esav. And he says, no, you're not. You're my son Jacob. Go away. No, he doesn't. He believes it. He absolutely believes it. And how do the rabbis in the commentary get around this one? They say that Isaac knew it was Jacob, and he also knew he should give him the blessing because he was afraid of Esau. So he used this as a convenient stratagem. But it's not true. He was fooled. Okay? Next, Jacob says, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thanks for the blessing. Runs out. And who comes in next?
Esau.
Esav, yes, Esav, because it's hard to hunt a deer. My own deer hunting experience is somewhat limited, except maybe Bambi and Feline. But he had to chase after the deer. I almost said deers. He had to chase after the deer. It was a slow day in the hunting business. And he comes in with this delicious smoking venison, and he says, hey, Dad, I'm here. I got your venison. Isaac begins to tremble violently and say, who are you? I already saw him, or I saw you. And your predecessor, the guy who came in first, he is surely blessed. Then Esau, you got to feel sorry for Esau. Nowadays, you don't say that he's an idolater. You say he had attention deficit. And that's really believable. I've written pieces about that myself. Okay? Well, Esau comes in, and Isaac says, I can't give you the super duper blessing that I gave to your brother who stole the blessing from you. I can give you this half decent blessing. That the end of time, when you rise up and you are stronger than your brother, you shall take his yoke from off your neck, which is really kind of a, shall we say, a mixed blessing. So, Rebecca says, Sonny, Jacob, you better get out of here. Go back to my hometown in Haran. And Esav goes out, and he says, when the days of mourning for my father are done, I will kill Jacob. It gets very complicated. Machlat appears in the Isaac Bashevis Singer stories because she's a sorceress. Okay, would you marry a sorceress?
Yeah,
Yes.
why not?
Okay. That'll be a job.
Beautiful.
It's a job. That's that she's self-supporting. Boom. Okay. Thank you very much.
Does she make a living?
Yes, Shabbat Shalom. Yes, sorcerer, schmorcerer, so long as she's happy. Okay.
As long as she can cook.
Yes. Yeah, but you don't know what's in the pot.
She always has a big hole.
Okay, we turn to page 28 and we rise for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ad Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. May be seated. Let's read responsibly on the left, page 28, under the line. Light and darkness, night and day, we marvel at the mystery of stars.
Moon, sky, sand, and sea, marvel at the mystery of sun.
Twilight, high noon, dusk, and dawn. Though we are mortal, we are creation's crown.
Flesh and bone, steel and stone, we dwell in fragile temporary shells.
Grant steadfast love, compassion, grace. Sustain us, O God. Our origin is dust.
Majesty, mercy, love endure, are a little lower than the angels.
Resplendent skies, sunset, sunrise. The grandeur of creation lifts our lives.
Evening darkness, morning dawn, renew our lives as you renew all.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. We join together on 29. Ahavot Olam Beit Yisrael Amecha ahavta Alkein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shachmeinu uvkumeinu, Nasiach b'rukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'v'mitzvotecha, Le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negeh yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatecha tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael.
We find the Shema on page 30. We'll cover the eyes. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kivod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. And the English. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day, you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. We'll continue now. Let's read on page 31, the bottom paragraph on the left, if you faithfully obey. This is Rabbi Andre Unger, and after he had been mentioned by one of my rabbinical school teachers, I looked him up, and he was really a very remarkable scholar and fighter for Judaism. We'll read this in his memory. If you faithfully obey my laws today and love me, I shall give you your livelihood in good time and in full measure. You shall work and reap the results of your labor, satisfied with what you have achieved. Be careful, however, let not your heart be seduced, lured after false goals, seeking alien ideals, lest God's image depart from you, and you seek into dissoluteness and lose your joyous God-given heritage. Amen.
Continue on page 32 in the middle of the page. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל כענו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושי מלך מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה אלי אנו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב ובעלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
On page 33, on the top left, we find the paragraph we read for the Cholim. We'll think not only of our own Cholim, those in our community, but also our brothers and sisters in the state of Israel who are suffering psychologically from this terrible, terrible conflict. So let me read the names. Eileen Carroll, Refuah Shlema. Sheila Bergman, Refuah Shlema. Joel Lubar, Refuah Shlema. Baby Ella Rose, Refuah Shlema. Wendy Kerrigan, Refuah Shlema. John Watkins, Refuah Shlema. Jeffrey Stern, Refuah Shlema. Aviva Kanagan, Refuah Shlema. Marsha Wairobi, Refuah Shlema. Lenore Cohen, Refuah Shlema. Rachel Spira, Refuah Shlema. Jeannie Tarrant, Refuah Shlema. And Gary Ways, Refuah Shlema. Any other names? Okay. So we say Lo Aleinu. And our brothers and sisters in the state of Israel, Refuah Shlema, yes.
Vince and Patricia Mossy.
Refuah Shlema.
Thank you.
All right. Let's read the English paragraph. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim, v'al kol haolam kulo. Amen.
We continue on page 34. Please rise. And join with me. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמא דברה קירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה Itala Shemay Dekudusha Rihu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata Veshirata Tushbechata V'Nechamata Ta'aviran B'Yama Liberu Amen. We recite the Amidah individually. Pages 35, A or B, through 38.
If you haven't finished the Amidah, please continue.
You turn to page 47. Vayekulu hashamayim ve'aretz v'kol tzevam vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa vayishvot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa Vayivarech Elohim et Yom HaShvi'i Vayikadesh oto Hivo Shabbat mikol melachto Hivo Shabbat mikol melachto Asher bara Elohim Asher bara Elohim la'asot Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Konei Shamayim Ba'aretz Magen Avot Bidvaro Mechayim Eitim Emamaro מקדש השבת ומברך שבי ומניח בקדושה לעם ודושני עונג זכר למעשה בראשית. Page 48. Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu ratzei v'imnuchateinu kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha v'ten chelkeinu b'toratecha sabeheinu mituvecha v'samcheinu b'yeshuatecha v'tahel libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet ve'anchilenu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava u'veratzon Shabbat kodshecha ve'yanuchu v'Yisrael mekadeshei shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat yitkada v'yitkadash shemei rabah be'amad divra kirutei וימליך מלכותי וחייכון וביומכון ובחיי תוכו בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי הוויה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שומר קדושה בריחו להילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן ביומה ויאמרו אמן תתקבל צלות ההון ובאותון תוכו ישראל קודם ובהוני ושמיה ויאמרו אמן יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Go for it. She takes two. Anita does.
Not yet.
Spelling was very tough. It was really tough.
Is that this?
That's juice.
Okay, we join together, page 49. Sabri Chaverai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava u'ratzon hinkilanu, zikaron יום תחייה למקראי קודש, ספר יציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון ימלטנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. It always hits the spot.
I need a thumbtack.
Okay, we turn to page 51.
Sure. Leland, would you care to open the ark, please?
Sure.
And the curtain?
Sorry?
And the curtain?
Yeah, please.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגוי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו
Mourner's Kaddish, I'm asking you all to please remain standing for this Mourner's Kaddish. I'm going to read the names of some of the Israeli soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice in this terrible conflict. Reserve Major Matan Meir, he was 38 years old, from Odem. He was a fighter in the 697th Battalion, the 51st Brigade. He fell in battle in the north of the Gaza Strip. Reserve Major Moshe Yedidia Leiter, 39 years old, from Main Surim. He was a military policeman in Battalion 697. He served as a platoon commander in the Shell Dog unit and fell in battle in the northern Gaza Strip. Major General Yosef Chaim Yossi Hershkovitz, 44 years old, from Givot, a fighter in the 697th Battalion, 551st Brigade, fell in battle in the north of the Gaza Strip, and among several others, Major Reserve Sergei Shmerkin, 32 years old, from Kiryat Shmona, a fighter in Battalion 697, was killed in battle in the north of the Gaza Strip. The Mourner's Kaddish for them, their families, and all the others who have given their lives in this terrible conflict. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yalmad Yivrach Hirutei v'yamlid Machutei. V'chayei Chon v'mei Chon v'chayei T'chol Beit Yisrael. V'agalo v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach li'olam u'leil maya. Yitborach v'yishtabach v'ohar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu li'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran v'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehi shalom rabba bin shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav u'yaseh shalom Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru amen. Before we conclude with the Yadon Olam, a few words from our wonderful temple president, Rita Fleming. Be seated.
Good Shabbos, everyone, and always wonderful to be with you. That was very touching, Rabbi. That was very important to hear the names of our brave soldiers in this awful, awful conflict that I know we're all praying for the hostages to be home and for the conflict to end, and hopefully that will happen not too long. I want to let you know that, I tell you everything. So I'm telling you something special that's happening tomorrow. That's beside Rivka's Cholet. That's happening tomorrow too. Thank you, Rivka. But we are hosting tomorrow a beautiful Kiddush lunch to celebrate 3 birthdays in Temple tomorrow. Paul's, Joel's, and Stu Pepper's. And so we're going to have a beautiful feast. At this feast, we are hosting a local small church who is losing their place to worship. And they're coming tomorrow just to be with us. And we've invited them to be with us. I've met their pastor. His name is Ken Kerrigan. He's a mensch, a real mensch. And Paul and I and our treasurer Harvey attended their Sunday services this past Sunday because they invited us to come. So we've returned the invitation, and they'll be here tomorrow. Well, I'll keep you posted as to what's going to happen in the future, if we can accommodate them with space that doesn't have it interfere with temple or with our services at all. I'll keep you posted. I'll never keep you in the dark about anything that's going on in temple. This is a very sweet thing for tomorrow. So you're going to be meeting some lovely new people. So come if you can. For those of you at home on Zoom, for Laura and Judy and Roseanne, for Ilana and Matt. Ilana, I hope your mom is doing better. Sherry, maybe, Sherry, you going to come for the blessing of the animals on Sunday? Sunday, 11 o'clock, is the blessing of the animals that Rabbi does every year. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's fun to bring your pets if you have them. Bring Ticker.
Oh, I've already told her.
Oh, good. Tigger is our new pet member, and she's adorable. So come for that, and just come for everything we're doing. Sign up for the Hanukkah party and dinner. I made out a form for you, and I have to tell you something marvelous before I tell you about Rabbi's classes. Yesterday, Cantor Anita held her first class, and it was first class. And it was on synagogue music from King David to Debbie Friedman. Yesterday was a busy day for me, but I was able to sit in on the last 10 or 15 minutes, and it was remarkable. I can't thank you enough. It was very well attended. It was beautifully done. Cantor Anita prepared wonderfully for it. The second session of her class will be on Thursday, November 30th at 10:30. So if you missed the first one, don't miss the second one, because that's synagogue music in modern times. It was just wonderful. Rabbi, has his classes on Wednesday. Wednesday's class is going to be on
What we've been doing.
what you've been doing. And then there's current events at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
But tomorrow's class, after our fabulous Italian feast, will be,
Yes, I really want to do some philosophy, Jewish and otherwise, but I'm going to keep that other book I was using in reserve, because they get feisty.
be on the lookout for a feisty book held in reserve. Don't miss Rabbi's classes, please. They are just wonderful. It'll leave you with things to think about during the week. It'll leave you with questions you didn't know you had any interest in. We're blessed with him as a wonderful scholar, and we're blessed with Cantor Anita as well. So good Shabbos to all of you. I'll keep you posted.
Yes. Thank you, Rita. Eloquent as always. I want to thank the cantor for wonderful davening this Shabbat evening. And we'll finish up with the Adon Olam, and because we've sort of run out the clock, we're going to use the world's fastest tune for the Adon Olam, which of course is William Tell Overture. There you go. Okay, otherwise known as the Lone Ranger theme. Yes, away. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yitzin Nifrali Nasa B'Chefzo Kol Hazayim Elech Shemo Nikra Acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Hu Haya V'Hu Hoveh V'Hu Yeh B'Tifara Hu Echad V'Yein Sheni Lehamshilo Lehachbira Li'Yeshib L'Tachli V'Lo Ha'oz V'Hamisra Hu Eli V'Chai Go'ali V'Tzurchet Li V'Yetz Torah Unisi Umanos Liman Hakosi V'Yomekra V'Yado Avchid Ruchi V'Yetisha Ha'ira Im Ruchi Gviati Adonai Li V'Lo Ira. Hayo Silver, away! Also, you save even more time by leaving out the vavs. Instead of V'Acharei, you do Acharei. Okay, please rise for the closing benediction. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Yo'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, may the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may the Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom. Hey. Shabbat shalom. Hey. Shabbat 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 shalom. Thank you so much.